Hello YouTube and welcome back to another alternate history video. Today I got the 2008 presidential election. I still got it between Obama and McCain. Of course in the year '08 there was a recession. There was also the Iraq war that was dragging on. So George W. Bush's popularity went down because of it, and Obama ran and McCain got the Republican nomination. Obama was able to run on hope and change, get a decisive victory over McCain. However, in this alternate scenario, as you can tell by the title, it's no recession, no Iraq. So basically, what it says, if no recession occurred, no Iraq war, how would this go? So it would be interesting. Of course, George W. Bush's popularity would be better than it was, I'm sure. It'd probably be somewhere like in the low 50s, upper 40s, probably kind of like Trump, or Trump's maybe around the end of his term, or I should say like during like his first term, around the beginning. It'd probably be something like that. I don't think it'd be too spectacular high, just because of party fatigue still. But his approval wouldn't be in the low 20s like it was if there was no recession, no Iraq. So I guess the economy would be pretty decent. It would be a closer election, but uh, anyway, let's get into it. See what would happen exactly. So in our timeline, of course, John McCain won these states like Idaho, Wyoming, and Utah. Obviously, I believe he'd hang on to him, no problem. He won Montana, but it was only by a couple of points, interestingly. In this scenario, I think he'd still win it, but I could see it being a little larger than it was. But I think it would still be under 10 just because McCain still probably wouldn't be the best candidate for the Republicans, especially being more establishment and a neocon. So I think it would still take Montana, but I could see it being pretty likely since a recession wouldn't be in this scenario, neither the Iraq war. However, I think Obama would take these states pretty solidly. Maybe Oregon could be likely in this scenario since McCain, I think, would be decent in some of the suburban parts. But I think due to the cities of like Seattle and Portland and these states, it would still hand Obama a decisive victory, as well as California. The state of Hawaii, I believe, would still go for him solidly. That was his birth state. These Great Plains states, I think, would have been over 10 in this scenario. I think they would have gone for McCain. They were actually under 10 in our timeline. But with no recession in Iraq, I think they would still go for McCain pretty solidly. Same with Nebraska, all of his districts. The second district I'll come back to, it was won by Obama, I think, narrowly. State of Kansas would go for McCain, Oklahoma, Texas as well. Solid margin in this scenario, as well as Alaska, Palin's home state. I think the South would go for him solidly here still, like it did Alaska, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia. South Carolina, I believe, was under 10, but I could see it getting above 10 in this scenario. Maybe it could still be likely due to a spike in black turnout, but I think still a solid one for McCain. The state of Illinois here will go for Obama, home state still, as well as New York, Maine's first district, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Jersey. Some of these states maybe could get a little closer due to McCain having somewhat of an appeal in these states, but nowhere near winning, I don't think. So still solid wins for Obama. Same with Delaware, that was Biden's home state. Maryland and Washington, D.C. So some more competitive states. McCain's home state would be likely, probably still, it could be above 10 in this scenario. So I'm actually going to give that to him safe, since it wouldn't be no recession or Iraq. It could probably be around 10 to 12 points, probably right on a safe margin or a high likely margin, but it's still a solid win there for McCain, I believe. The state of Nevada was an Obama state, and I don't think it was really close. I'm going to actually go to it here on Wikipedia. So it was actually a 12-point margin, pretty solidly there. I think in this scenario, it would actually still go Obama by a likely margin, despite being no recession or Iraq, mainly due to Latino voting for Obama, Clark County, Washoe County, and McCain not doing the best in rural areas. So I think it would still be a solid win there. The state of Missouri here narrowly went for McCain. Definitely a close one, closer than expected. was under a 0.13%. In fact, uh, I think McCain would still win it, but I think it could still be in the lean margin, closer probably to like 4 to 5 points maybe, since it wouldn't be a recession. But McCain still wouldn't have the greatest appeal in these rural, more populist states, like more Trumpian states, especially in our current day. So I think it could still be kind of competitive, but a bigger margin than it actually was. Probably still a lean margin for McCain there, in my opinion. The state of Colorado here was an Obama state. It had flipped from Bush from 4 years prior, and it was an 8 point margin. I could still see it going to Obama pretty likely due to Colorado rapidly shifting to the left around this time and still is in our current day, just getting bluer due to the Denver metropolitan area and the state definitely growing with population and more college educated. Definitely, I think it would still be a likely margin to Obama, and like I said, Latino appeal. I think he would still kind of run on a hope and change campaign like he did in our timeline. So I think that would be enough to give him a likely margin in the state still. Same in New Mexico, honestly. Like I said, with Latinos and not really being competitive for the GOP and after 2004. Maybe it could be bumped down to lean, but I just don't see McCain being the most inspiring, like even he wasn't in our timeline. So still solid wins there for Obama. Same in Minnesota. That was actually about a 10 point margin, as you see. So probably another likely one there. Of course, Minnesota has had a Democratic voting streak since 1976, so I don't see that breaking here. Due to Minneapolis, Obama doing well and McCain not doing as well in the rural areas, I think will be a solid victory there still. The state of New Hampshire here, another Obama state, and another solid one of those by 9 points. Been a very anti-incumbent state in our recent election cycles, dating back to at least like George W. Bush when I went against him in 2004. Still went for Obama in 2012, but only by like 5 points. And then, of course, went for Obama by 9 in 08, turning against the Republicans. McCain was competitive in the state, at least in the primaries, like especially in 2000. So that's why I could see this one getting a little closer, but I think it would still go Obama by a pretty likely margin, anywhere from like 5 to 7, maybe. Maybe it could be bumped down to lean, but I think it would just be on the likely margin, in my opinion, because of party fatigue. Like I said, McCain would be pretty competitive in some of the areas, but I just think Obama turning out voters like in Hillsborough County, where more college-educated towns are, college towns, would definitely turn out for Obama. Still, a lot of young voters would still be inspired, especially with an African American being on the ballot. So I think that would still be Obama, but like I said, probably reduced to around 5 to 7 points if I had to guess. Still a win there. Maine at large was for Obama, of course. So that wasn't really competitive, as you see. And I think it would stay like that in this scenario. It was 57 to 40, well over 10 points. I don't see much changing because, like I said, McCain isn't the most inspiring. His age was a factor, and he was just seen as another establishment Republican. And that definitely didn't help him in a year of a recession and the Iraq War. So I think he would still be seen, of course, as the establishment guy here. And so I see Obama still getting a victory there. Same in Maine second. In our current day, it's been more Republican now. But back then, it was seen as more Democratic leaning. And I think that would stick here. Another likely one for Obama. I think it would be a little under 10, but still a solid win there because McCain isn't like the Trumpian populist candidate. He is the establishment candidate. So that's why I say a solid victory there for Barack. Getting into the Rust Belt here, Iowa was another Obama state by a solid margin, 9 points. Like I said, just McCain being that establishment type candidate, he's not that populist type, so I still see that going for Obama by a solid margin. And of course, it was also against ethanol subsidies, I believe, which kind of cost him in the primary in the state. So I think it would come into play in this general election too. And a solid win for Obama there, due to party fatigue, as I said, and McCain being the establishment candidate. The state of Indiana was another close one. A barely win for Obama by plurality due to spiking turnout in some of the suburbs in the state. Vigo County, while McCain did better in the rural areas, but not as good as somebody like Donald Trump in our current day. I think, however, with no recession occurring, that it could still go McCain, but I think it could possibly be about a lean margin, maybe about a couple points, 3 to 4 maybe, closer to a likely, but probably still a lean just because Obama would still have the Midwestern factor going for him, being from neighboring Illinois. I could still see him spiking out turnout in some of the suburbs in the state. But due to the rural areas, I think McCain could hang on with no recession being in play. The state of Ohio, another Obama state. And this one was about 4 points. So in that case, I could say it getting a little narrower, but probably still an Obama win. I would say by a lean margin. Couple points, I think. Just like I said, due to party fatigue and Obama having appeal in the northeastern part, McCain would have better appeal in the rurals. But due to northern and northeastern Ohio, I think we'll still give Obama the victory, as it did in overtime line, but only by a couple points, maybe closer to a 2004 margin that Bush won about. And so still a win there. And Wisconsin and Michigan, more Obama states. Wisconsin was about 13 points. We get a little reduced here due to recession not occurring, but I think with Obama being still a really good, inspiring candidate for a lot of young and working class people, that it would still win about a likely margin, but it could maybe be a little under 10, maybe around the 2012 margin, which I believe was only about 6 points. But in this scenario, probably around something like that against McCain. Michigan, another state that went for Obama by 16 points, in fact. I could see that being a little reduced, but it could still be over 10, so it could stay safe, or it could be like a high likely margin due to no recession occurring. But I think Obama would still have the appeal like in the driftless area with the working class, especially in Wisconsin, but also Michigan as well, and of course having the black turnout in places like Detroit. So I think that would be enough to give Obama a solid victory. And the state of Pennsylvania, another Obama state. So that was won by a 10-point margin. And I roughly see him doing that here too. Due to, like I said, still running on party fatigue and against McCain being more establishment. I think that would be a solid Obama victory still, probably about around 5 to 7 points. The state of Virginia would be interesting. I believe it would get closer due to McCain having appeal in the northern suburbs, but Obama having it too, since it was becoming more democratic by this time. It was by a 6-point margin, but if this is no recession, no Iraq, I think I could see it can bump down to a lean margin, possibly by something close to like the 2012 margin, which was around 3 points. So I could see something like that happening there too, the Virginia shift to the left still. But McCain also having decent appeal in Nova, like I said. But still an Obama victory since Virginia was shifting left around this time. Like I said, probably something around the 2012 margin. I could see that happening here too. And North Carolina, however, was a tight one. Obama spiked up black turnout, especially like in the Raleigh area. And it was still a narrow one though. With no recession, no Iraq is occurring, possibly McCain could get a narrow victory there, but I think this is a tough one. So maybe McCain would narrowly take it in this scenario. Obama still gets spiking black turnout, but I think with no recession occurring, that McCain could still narrowly take it. But I think that one's a pure toss-up, honestly. I could still say Obama narrowly taking it too, but I just think of no recessions occurring that could help McCain some, but very narrowly though, under a point I believe, if he does win it there. The state of Georgia, I think, would be pretty likely. I want to say it was around 5 points or so. I'm going to look now, and it was. Obama had a good black turnout, like in Atlanta, but the rural areas helped McCain win the state. So I see that happening here too, probably around 7 to 9 points, with no recession occurring. The state of Florida, another narrow one. They typically, of course, was a swing state around this time, only about a couple of points for Obama. I could see again much closer, but I think due to Obama doing good in the suburban parts of the state, I think it'd do great, like in uh, Pinellas County and places like that. While McCain would do better in the Panhandle and throughout the rest of the state, but due to like southern Florida, as you see there, and some of these metropolitan areas, I think Obama could still get a narrow victory there due to party fatigue after 2 terms of Bush. And with that, Obama gets 338 electoral votes. McCain gets 199. So still an Obama victory, but by a reduced margin. But I believe that after 2 terms of Bush still, that the country will want some change still. And Obama run on that hope and change still. But with no recession or Iraq occurring, it would make it a little more competitive, but still a pretty solid victory. It'd be closer to like the 2012 margin against Romney, as you see there. And I realized I did forget Nebraska second, so let me get that real quick. I believe that was another narrow one. So Obama did win against McCain, but with no recession or Iraq occurring, I could see McCain taking that in like a lean margin. I think it was still competitive still, but an McCain victory nonetheless. So Obama gets 338, and McCain actually gets 200 in this scenario. So if you agree or not, just comment below what you think of this. I thank you for watching. It was an interesting one for sure. I've been kind of thinking about doing this one for a while, and so I finally got around to it. And just tell me what you think of this, if you agree or not, if any states would change or stay the same. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll see you next time.